Hey, Red. We're not gonna get away with this, are we?
There are a lot of games out there that pander around the thought of quantity over quality. While this may be a good decision for most games, it causes backlash, the players becoming not content with the disparity of a campaign or story mode. Others include the best story and show enticing narratives, but has boring gameplay that doesn't match the high quality it already shows. In a market that we now see the story and the gameplay as two crucial parts of the entire product, it begs the question, what can we do to solve this problem? How can we satisfy all parties? What if we didn't need the glitz and glamour of the AAA games that are coming out right now? Or the deep, in-depth story that breaks the way we look at stories now? Maybe what we need is the basic facts and a good atmosphere to make a short story into an experience. And one experience this little indie game gives. In the future, everyone has a voice. Governments are abolished, and the people are in control of the events in the world, to politics and even the weather. In the city of Cloudbank, the city changes by the whim of its citizens. Art and creative turn to be the mainstay of the coastal town. You play as Red, a jazz singer who lost her voice to a shadow organization called the Camerata, a group that wants to keep a stagnant and virus-ridden version of Cloudbank for their game. The only weapon you have against the Camerata, and ironically the same one that nearly killed you in an assassination attempt, is a talking motherboard sword called the Transistor. Now, you must face off against those who are now consuming Cloudbank and find your way out of the slowly corrupted city. The gameplay is almost an exact parallel to Supergiant's other game, Bastion, a top-down strategy beat-em-up game. Unlike Bastion, Transistor includes a combo system of moves, letting you modify your setup to your playstyle. But the main mechanic is the planning stage, where you can take a break to think about what move you want to do, instead of throwing moves down on the fly and focusing on maintaining health. As an action RPG, you can multi-purpose moves to tune up a particular starter, add a modifier, and then include a passive ability to improve your movement or protection after you get out of the planning stage. Otherwise, it's pretty simple to use your moves freely without using the planning stage. But I mostly went through the game using the mechanic, even with the repercussion of not being able to use my well thought out combinations after I executed my plan. That's where it also acts as its downfall. There are passives that reduce the amount of times you have to wait for a cooldown, but still takes a long time, especially when there are enemies attacking you with few breaks between their volleys. There's always a good chance that the difficulty will go up naturally, and it does at some points, but near the end of the game, it felt like there were so many different enemies being flung at me at a short time, with not enough leeway to get used to their patterns, like with most enemies I faced. Another thing that doesn't seem to work out with is the attack volleys that the enemies use. While it doesn't seem like a problem at first, it gets to a point where you can use the plan stage as an escape, rather than as the escape and counterattack method, and that could be a bad sign in this case. Darren Korb, the composer for Transistor, as well as Supergiant's other game, Bastion, combines melancholy electronic beats to slow jazz, creating a sound that I would describe as pure ear candy. The music captures the journey that Red and the Transistor go through together, setting tones of the impending doom that looms overhead, the unexpected machines that the two have to face, to the quiet seaside moments in the back door, where you can take a break and ponder on the events of the game, taking in the changing sunset in the background. The vocals of Ashley Barrett, who provides the voice for Red, or rather her humming, adds to the extensive soundtrack that already boasts highly about. These include such tracks as The Spine, We All Become One, and the most haunting track, and my favorite, Paper Boats. Additional to the humming of the other tracks of the game is equally powerful, making it feel like the game is one giant jazz concert. Simply beautiful. The background and character models, as well as the drawn additions to the backstories, are just perfect. Mwah! When I first started the game, putting me right into the story without any way of how to figure out the controls, what happened, and where the story was supposed to go, it brought me back to one of the most unexpected series that I would consider it to be a very close parallel parallel to this. Cowboy Bebop has the exact same style to the game, providing with a soundtrack dripping in jazz and other genres of music, a no-good heroes kind of narrative, and an atmosphere that held the enchantment of a space science fiction western a highly praised series could get. Transistor holds the exact same feeling, with the plot and smaller break scenes to breathe some air and take a few. It's worth a marathon playing it straight through, a good 6 hours for a story that leaves you satisfied at the least. Even though the difficulty may frustrate you at times, especially near the end, the finish is all the worthwhile.